I've been a huge Games Workshop fan for over a decade. I started playing Fantasy, and while it remains my favorite, I have dabbled in the 40k version. Games Workshop has built a huge world around both franchises with deep lore and fun gameplay, so I was excited when I heard about the Space Hulk game coming to the PC. Space Hulk is a two-player board game set in the 40k universe and was introduced in 1989. It is heavily inspired by the movie Aliens and has amassed a cult following, seeing two more editions culminating in the current third edition that was released in 2009. How does this version compare to the board game? This is my review for Space Hulk on the PC. First, let me say this game is very challenging. My first attempt at the tutorial missions on normal difficulty left my Space Marines beaten, bloody, and heading for the exit. The normal difficulty settings follow the board game rules pretty closely, including bolter weapon jams, while the easy setting keeps most things intact minus the bolter jams and a slight bonus in melee combat. Aside from the brief tutorial missions, the game unfolds over 12 levels. Each mission requires specific objectives to meet before completion. They range from dominance, survival, escape, and acquiring specific objects and objectives. The difficulty in the earlier levels is tolerable, but the game really ramps up in the later missions, presenting the players with some challenging situations. More than a few times I was thinking about what I did wrong before I even hit the end turn button. You get the opportunity to play as the more notable classes of Space Marines, from Terminators to Sergeants and Librarians. It's a decent mix, although I wish some of the more advanced classes had been introduced a little earlier in the campaign. While at times challenging, the campaign does feel a bit short, and you will probably not see more than a few days of game time during your initial playthrough. The game also suffers from a bit of a bare bones feel. Kill animations, for example, feel very repetitive after the first few times, and while you do get a voice intro for the missions, there are no cutscenes or extras to look forward to.
There is a large bank of functioning escape pods in a sector well beyond our established perimeter. The enemy must not escape. Cleanse the control room. No matter the cost, this will be done. Sergeant of the squad, accept your orders.
Gameplay for the most part is solid, but I could never shake the feeling that my hulking Space Marines and Terminator armor were not much more than paper targets when it came to melee combat. In fact, it's better off to avoid melee as much as possible. Even units locked into melee feel weak and vulnerable. Overall, it's a solid turn-based strategy game built upon a beloved franchise. It's also nice to see more Games Workshop titles being developed, and I hope the trend continues. For a first effort from this developer, it's not a bad start, and I look forward to them improving upon this game in the future. I think that with a little more time, effort, and money, it could be a terrific franchise. The game does support multiplayer, so those interested in that will see some extra value. The game is currently retailing for $30 on Steam. Personally, I would wait for a discount as it feels more like a $15 to $20 budget game in length and scope. Fans of Warhammer, especially 40k, should enjoy the title, just don't expect a Dawn of War. At the end of the day, it's a decent budget game from a developer new to the source material. I'm giving Space Hulk for the PC a solid 6.5 out of 10.